Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. And without further ado, Microsoft won. The FTC was denied its preliminary injunction. This allows Microsoft to now acquire Activision Blizzard in the US. Now, of course, we still have to worry about the UK and the CMA. However, I now think that the CMA is going to have more of an incentive to make a deal with Microsoft. Seeing how badly the FTC lost, I don't think the CMA wants to get that same type of embarrassment. I don't think they want to go through the same type of scrutiny that they're probably going to go through with their government. This is just crazy. Now, what does this mean for Lena Khan and her Thursday hearing with the Congress? She has to testify in front of Congress. She doesn't want to present certain documents and she can be held in contempt of court. How is this going to play out? This is going to be very interesting. She, at the very least, has to be fired. She's done a horrible job since she's taken over the FTC. Now let's get into everyone's reaction from this, and don't worry, we're going to deliver some receipts today because I am aware of a lot of people out there that were against this deal, that were saying stuff like we're crazy. People were even thinking that you need the UK in order for this whole deal to go through. No, they can close this deal in the US. It can't go through in the UK until they come to some type of agreement. We know that the appeal process is going right now, and the evidence that they presented so far, I don't see the CMA winning that case either. Now, that's another day, that's another case. Today, we're gonna celebrate Microsoft's epic win over the FTC. Now, before I get into all of this stuff, please like the video. I notice there's a lot of people watching the live premieres and you don't hit the like button. All I ask you guys to do is just hit the like button. A California judge is allowing Microsoft to close the acquisition of Activision Blizzard after 5 days of grueling testimony. Microsoft still faces an ongoing antitrust case by the Federal Trade Commission, but Judge Jacqueline Scott Court has listened to the arguments from both the FTC and Microsoft and decided to deny the regulator's request for a preliminary injunction. In the ruling submitted today, Judge Corley said the following: Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. It deserves scrutiny. The scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft is committed in writing, in public, and in the court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years on parity with Xbox. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch, and it entered several agreements for the first time bringing Activision's content to several cloud gaming services. The court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it would prevail on its claim. The court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it would prevail on its claim that particular vertical merger in the specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumers accessing Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. Now, he goes on to say that Judge Corley has clearly sided with Microsoft on its commitments to keep Call of Duty on the PlayStation, even extend the game to Nintendo Switch, despite the FTC challenging Microsoft's cloud agreements. Judge Corley took them into consideration in her decision. The court ruling even agrees with Microsoft in theory about Nintendo Switch being a part of the console market, but also accepts the FTC can reasonably claim it's not. Judge Corley also agreed with the FTC that the console market does not include PCs. In a statement following Judge Corley's decision, Microsoft President Brad Smith said the company was grateful to the court in San Francisco for the quick and thorough decision and hope other jurisdictions will continue working towards a timely resolution. Bobby Kotick also said that this will enable competition rather than allow entrenched market leaders to continue to dominate our rapidly growing industry. So that is it. That's a wrap. The document is here. So the document's going to be really long. I think we got the highlights of the actual document. I will also link the document in the description down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. I'll put it on the screen right now just a little bit. I guess we can just go through some of the stuff here. The video game industry represents the fastest growing form of media and entertainment, with revenues larger than film, music, and print industries. The industry consists of several components: 3 billion worldwide gamers, the video game developers who create games, the video game publishers who release the games, and the companies that make the devices on which gamers play their games. This action involves a merger between Activision and developer Call of Duty video game franchise and Microsoft, a game developer, publisher, and manufacturer of the Xbox game console. And she goes in, and this is basically the whole case. We've been covering it for the last, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. So we don't really need to go into all the details of this. If you want to, like I said, it's scrolling on the screen here. You can slow it down, you can pause it. And like I said, I'm going to link it in the description down below. Now, what does this mean for UK? As I said earlier, in the UK, they have to get a deal in order for this to go through. So everything that stands right now with Game Pass services, everything that the Xbox is running in the UK as of this moment will remain the same. They can close the deal in the United States, and we will be able to have access to these games in Game Pass. So Call of Duty, I would expect it this year in Game Pass. That is excellent news. Diablo, it's coming to Game Pass. Now, I know yesterday something leaked out from some type of Brazilian retailer where they actually showed Diablo in Game Pass. And I don't know if they were foreshadowing or if they predicted it or they had some type of leak. I'm not quite sure, but it turns out to be correct. We can expect Diablo inside of Game Pass. All of the Activision games inside of Game Pass day and date. And this is what we wanted. This is what Microsoft wanted. This is what's going to allow them to compete. And I'm going to guarantee that the Game Pass numbers are going to go up significantly when Call of Duty launches. I'm so excited. I'm exhausted at the same time because this was such a long journey. So many people told us this wouldn't happen. I had so many people in the comment section saying the deal is dead. It's over. And I said the deal is not dead. I said it over and over again, and I gave you reasons. Unlike the detractors to this case or this deal going through, I always presented you guys with the facts. I gave you guys all of the facts, whether they were for Microsoft or not. And the facts just did not support the FTC's case. This is indisputable, even more so now with the judge's ruling. The judge ruled in the way I thought she would, as the evidence was presented to her. I told you that they didn't have a leg to stand on, and the judge's ruling says that. She says that the FTC did not prove its case. It didn't prove that there's going to be harm to consumers with this merger. In fact, to the contrary, more consumers are going to have access to Activision games. They're going to have access to Call of Duty, the cloud providers. It's going to be a first-time deal. So some customers that never, ever would have had access to Call of Duty will now have access to it via the cloud due to this deal. So how is this bad for consumers? All the pundits out there saying that Microsoft is buying up all the studios and they're trying to buy their way in, and they don't do it like Sony because Sony is organic. A couple of days ago, I produced a video showing you that Sony is not organic. They bought all their studios and they continue to buy studios. They continue to money hat third-party deals. Things are going to change. There's going to be a shakeup with this deal. This is the largest video game purchase in the history of this industry. This is a big deal. This is history in the making. It really, truly is. And I'm so excited. And like I said, I'm also burnt out because this has finally come to an end somewhat. We still have to deal with the CMA. And I think that the CMA, in their best interest, they're going to try to make a deal with Microsoft because their evidence is even weaker than the FTC's. It truly is, especially when the other regions don't agree with them, especially when most of the world doesn't agree with them. And seeing how this went through a U.S. court, through litigation, you better believe that Kat is going to be looking at that ruling. And you better believe there is heat on the CMA. And we've been covering the CMA stuff, and what they presented so far hasn't been good. And they looked, once again, I would say, outlawyered by Microsoft. Microsoft's representatives looked very prepared. If you think the FTC got smashed here, the CMA, they're going to get destroyed. So once again, I think it's in their best interest for them to come to some type of agreement. I know that the UK government is not happy with the CMA. The Prime Minister has pretty much come out and said that he wants businesses to know that the UK is a place where businesses can come and thrive. Their economy needs it. So I do see this deal going through the UK. I don't see this not being passed. Now, whether it's through the CAT tribunal or it's through the CMA backing down and making a deal with Microsoft, I don't know. But one way or another, that deal is going to go through. Now, we have some breaking news coming through my timeline. Like I said, we're doing this in real time. As soon as I heard the announcement, I went straight to making this video. So breaking news from Tom Warren. Of course, I'm going to leave it in the description down below. And he says, Microsoft and UK regulators agreed to pause their Activision battle to negotiate. It looks like the CMA is ready to talk about a potential remedy in the UK. Now let's click on this link. I'm seeing this for the first time, just like you guys. Now it goes on to say Microsoft and the UK Competition and Markets Authority, which is the CMA, have both agreed to pause their legal battle over the proposed Activision Blizzard acquisition in order to further negotiate. Microsoft has just won a separate ruling with the US federal court against the Federal Trade Commission, and the CMA is the last regulator preventing the Xbox maker from completing its $68.7 billion Activision Blizzard deal. Now, once again, I got to point out for you guys, this is worldwide. So there's other, like Canada can't stop the deal anymore. New Zealand, they can't stop the deal anymore. The UK, they can. The CMA has blocked it in the UK. In the States, they can't block the deal anymore. In the EU, they passed it. South Africa, they passed it. So all these other regions, they can have this deal as soon as Microsoft closes in the States. However, the UK, they still have to negotiate to get this in. And like I was saying earlier in this video, before this news dropped, I'm sure that they would try to negotiate with Microsoft. And here we are, not even 20 minutes into my video, and we have some type of negotiations going on. Now, the UK regulator moved to block Microsoft's proposed acquisition in April, and Microsoft was due to appeal the decision with a hearing set to start on the 28th of July. Microsoft has now agreed with the CMA to pause its appeal process to look at how the transaction could be modified to address the CMA's cloud gaming concerns, which are not valid to begin with, because the EU came with a solution and Microsoft said, okay, we're going to allow this to be in all the cloud providers worldwide. The EU only required them to do it in their jurisdiction. And Microsoft said, we'll do it worldwide to all cloud providers. So the CMA's argument was lost already. So of course they have to negotiate. And the CMA was trying to stall this deal. They were working with the FTC. They actually filed some court documents. And I'm sure this was in conjunction with the FTC, because the FTC was trying to get this deal blocked so that they could address it in their court. And the CMA was trying to get this delayed so that it could coincide with what the FTC is doing. And the FTC failed, and thus the CMA failed. And now the CMA wants to come to the table, and now they want to negotiate. When Microsoft was trying to negotiate with them, they didn't even pick up the phone. They were not hearing it. They said, no way, we're not allowing this deal to go through. They were saying, this is not good for consumers. Now you want to sit down and talk with Microsoft? Because you know the embarrassment of what was coming. And they kind of had a prelude to this with the pre-trial stuff. They saw what they were up against. And when the FTC's case, the ruling came in, and we saw everything that happened in that case, and we got to believe that the FTC is more competent than the CMA, they had to know that their goose was cooked. So all you guys out there saying that this deal would be blocked and saying that they need the UK, which they don't, but now they're going to also have the UK. That's it. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. This is over. Microsoft has officially been granted the approval in the US to purchase Activision Blizzard. The CMA, the UK market, they are negotiating with them. All these other regions like Canada and New Zealand that said something, they were past their objection date. They couldn't stop it. They could only put their mouth in it. It was too late for them to say anything. And I'm sure the CMA made a call to Canada and said, hey, can you guys send something to Judge Corley? I know these things were done. It was kind of evident to me. And now Lina Khan is going to have to face the Congress on Thursday. And I'm sure they're going to ask her a lot of questions about this acquisition and why she chose to block it. And with all the evidence that we have now, and with the judge's ruling, they had no case. And she is going to have to be held accountable for it. Now let's get to the receipts. We're going to pull up some receipts. I know there's a guy out there named Red something that spewed a lot of stuff about this deal. Every day coming out and tweeting, making fun of gamers for looking for the verdict. Saying, oh my goodness, you guys are stalking the judge. Oh, you guys have no lives. Yet we know that they were awaiting the decision just as impatiently as us. They wanted this to go the FTC's ways. And you better believe it. If the FTC got a win here, these guys would have a different tone today. But most of these guys, they're like cockroaches when you turn on the lights. They just scatter. I can't find any of these guys today. It's hilarious. But this is a day for gamers. I feel gamers really won today. I don't care if you're a PlayStation gamer or if you're an Xbox gamer or if you're a Nintendo gamer or PC, whatever. All gamers won today. Nobody is going to get these games scrubbed off of their platforms. In fact, more gamers are going to have access to these games, which is going to develop a larger community. We're going to have better online with lots of different players. It's just going to be great. If you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, this is fantastic. You're paying for this service. You're going to have these games in your service day and date. If you're a PlayStation gamer, you don't have to worry about Call of Duty leaving your platform. It's going to be there for at least the next 10 years, which is excellent. Also, it's going to have parity with the Xbox. Now, I know Sony probably doesn't like that part because they're not going to be able to get those exclusive sweet deals that they used to get before. You know, those packs that are day and date on the PlayStation or play this map first on the PlayStation. Now, that's going to stop. You're going to have parity. You're going to have the same content as the Xbox day and date. And yes, some people are going to play it on Game Pass because it's a better alternative, but you're still going to have access to it on the PlayStation. So gamers are not going to suffer from this. Okay, so let's get into the receipts. Now we're going to get our favorite detractor here, Foxy Games. He says, I hope Microsoft don't get ABK. I hope Microsoft have to pay $3 billion exit fee just to see a river of Xbox zealots' tears flood Twitter. I hope Bethesda revolt, insist that their games are multi-platform like Bungie when Sony acquired them. Pay that $3 billion with Game Pass price increases. Wow. Okay, let's see if he has the same type of energy today. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I don't see anything regarding the Microsoft agreement going through. There's nothing about the merger going through here. In fact, he hasn't been on Twitter for 16 hours. And I expect a lot of these guys to be off Twitter today because they can dish it, but they can't take it. And at least be accountable. At least stand behind what you said. Come out and say you were wrong, and that's it, and log off. But these guys don't even have the courage to show their face after spewing all the hatred that they usually do. So this guy, he's just going to be salty for a long time. Don't harass him, but let him know how wrong he was. Now, this guy, PlayStation blocked. He said, remember that feeling when those bots woke up in the morning and found out the CMA blocked the deal? That same thing is going to happen when they wake up in this week, the time they hear the judges decided to block Microsoft's acquisition. Watch the damage control of these bots. Yeah, buddy, I don't think it worked out too well for you. And once again, this guy has nothing to say. Nothing to say on this deal. Now we're going to go to our favorite delusional detractor. Now, he was making fun of Florian Miller, saying that he said it could be Monday, it could be Tuesday. Oh, it could be the July 4th. Scratch that. Oh, no, it'll be Wednesday. He was making fun that he didn't know what day the verdict would come. And none of us really knew. It was a guessing game. We thought it would be earlier, like Monday, and it came today. Big deal. It was still the reaction that we thought we would get, or I should say the verdict that we thought we would get. Now, what does he go on to say? Now, as we go up, he's referencing Red Dragon's tweet that we're all watching Judge Corley like we're stalkers. And now he's starting to slowly lose it. He goes, Europe is bending the knee to their Microsoft overlords. Stand firm, CMA. Now, I'm going to be honest. The reaction when they heard the verdict, I'm surprised. They said, judge denied the injunction. Lol, congrats to our Xbox brothers. Laughing my ass off. And I'm going to give them credit. At least they came out and faced the heat. Unlike some of these other detractors, they're nowhere to be found on Twitter today or other social media platforms. But like I said, I'm going to give them credit. They said what they said, and they're being accountable for it, and they're here to take their lashing. So we got to give respect where it's due. But you were wrong. Just like so many other people were wrong about this deal. And they're eating a bunch of humble pie. So just to wrap everything up, so let you guys know where this deal is going now. Now that it has been approved by the judge, well, at least not blocked by the judge, Microsoft can close this deal. Now, the temporary restraining order expires on Friday, so as early as this weekend, they can finalize the deal. Now, I do expect this to go through early next week. We know that the CMA is now negotiating with Microsoft. That would signal that the FTC is not going to be appealing this decision. Lena Khan is going to have to testify in front of the Congress on Thursday, and I'm sure she's going to be asked a host of questions on why she decided to block this merger. So that's pretty much it. This is a huge win for Microsoft. We're going to see these games in our Game Pass service. I think we're going to see Diablo quite soon in Game Pass. We're going to see Call of Duty in Game Pass. We're going to see all of the older Call of Duty titles in Game Pass. We're going to see all of the Activision games coming to Game Pass day and date, and this is a fantastic day for Xbox fans, for Xbox gamers, and I think for gamers in whole. I think this is good for the industry. I think Microsoft is now going to be able to compete with Sony much better. I think Game Pass is going to grow at a huge amount this fall when Call of Duty is added to that service. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. What do you think about the judge ruling that the FTC has no grounds to deny Microsoft from purchasing Activision? What are your thoughts on the detractors? Let me know all the receipts that you have in the comment section down below. Like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.